Meet Bainan, a little dog whose story of suffering and abandonment is, unfortunately, common to many street animals. She lived alone, with no one to care for her, in a situation of extreme poverty. She was just skin and bones, her thin and fragile body reflecting days, or perhaps weeks, without food. Her hunger was unbearable, and loneliness seemed to be the only company she knew. Bainan's condition was so critical that even a simple movement required a colossal effort. Her fur, once probably soft and shiny, was now dull, dirty and matted, and her eyes, which should shine with the curiosity typical of a dog, were dull, expressing fear and pain. This desperate situation, however, was about to change. On a day that seemed like any other, a kind-hearted person passed by the place where Bainan was. It was a deserted street where almost no one dared to walk, but fate had other plans for the little dog. It was a soft sound, almost a lament, that caught the attention of this person. A faint but painful moan echoed in the darkness, and she, overcome by curiosity and compassion, followed the sound. What she found changed her life, and especially Bainan's life. The person entered an abandoned house, dirty and dusty, which barely offered shelter. And there, in a dark corner, huddled, was Bainan. The poor little dog was shaking with fear, without the strength to get up, without the energy to run away. She was terrified, with her eyes wide open, as if expecting the worst. Every movement seemed painful, and her thin body was clear evidence that she had spent a long time without any form of care or food. Her gaze begged for help, but at the same time was full of distrust, probably the result of a history of neglect or mistreatment. The person, moved by the scene, acted as gently as possible. She approached slowly, trying not to scare the already fragile and frightened animal any further. He reached out his hand carefully, and Bainan, in an act of complete submission, allowed herself to be picked up. In the arms of this gentle person, she was as light as a feather, and her bones could be easily felt through her thin skin. It was an unsettling sensation, but it also fueled the desire to save her even more. Without hesitation, this person took Bainan straight to the vet. He knew the situation was serious and that the little dog needed immediate help. At the vet's office, he performed a thorough evaluation. The news was not good. Bainan was in critical condition. In addition to extreme malnutrition, she also showed signs of severe dehydration and possible illnesses caused by living on the streets. Her body was so fragile that any carelessness could be fatal. But there was hope. The experienced and dedicated vet immediately began treatment to save Bainan's life. The little dog was hydrated, given essential nutrients, and began rigorous treatment to combat the diseases that were threatening her life. During the first few days, she was too weak to react, but little by little, signs of improvement began to appear. Her eyes, which had been empty and dull, now took on a subtle glow. She was fighting for her life. The following days were spent in intensive care and constant monitoring. Bainan, who had initially been barely able to lift her head, began to take her first fragile steps. Each small victory was celebrated by the veterinary team and her rescuer, who now not only cared for her but also showered her with love and affection. The moment when Bainan finally wagged her tail for the first time was heartwarming, a clear sign that she was beginning to feel safe and loved. As the weeks passed, Bainan transformed. Her thin body began to gain weight, her fur grew back, healthier and shinier, and her energy was restored. She began to play, to run, and to enjoy the company of other people and animals. The fear that once dominated her demeanor was replaced by confidence, and the little dog, who was once found on the brink of death, now exuded happiness. Today, Bainan is living a new life. She has been adopted by a loving family who provide her with all the care and affection she deserves. Her emotional scars are slowly fading, and she relishes every moment with her new family. Bainan's transformation is a testament to the power of love and compassion, showing that with the right help, even the most desperate cases can have happy endings. Bainan's story is not just one of rescue, but also one of hope and redemption. It reminds us of the importance of taking action when we see an animal in distress and how precious every life is. Thanks to the kindness of a stranger and the dedication of professionals, Bainan has been given a second chance, a chance to live a life filled with joy, love, and comfort, something she had never experienced before. And now, she can finally enjoy what she always deserved, a dignified life, surrounded by affection and security.